Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Gabe, and I'm here today to answer questions that y'all been wanting to know about the Talk of Town. So here we go.
You ready?
uh-huh.
What inspired you to create the Talk of Town?
What inspired me to create the Talk of Town? It all started whenever the COVID had happened, because like everybody was like locked in their house and stuff, and didn't have nothing to do. Well, me and my circle, well, me and my cousin Ondria, we had watched like a lot of different podcasts and stuff, and we started like binge watching like the Queen's Supreme Court and the Queen's Court and T.S. Madison and stuff like that, and Funky Dineva and Corey Holcomb and all these other different people. And she was like, you should do that. And I was like, huh? Because I guess because of my sense of humor, everything that come out of my mouth is a bit funny to some people. But it also was, at the time I needed a source of income because I was going through something where somebody had stole my identity and I lost a source of income. So I had to turn to YouTube for a source of income, and it helped. You know what I'm saying? It helped. But also another thing that inspired the Talk of Town is my skill for performing. I took when I was in high school, I took let me see, drama my freshman year, and I took fine arts my sophomore year. And our our teacher, Miss Sheila Loeb, she really brought out the best in us and how to perform and how to do this and do that. You know what I'm saying? Even though she wasn't an acting coach, but in our eyes, like in my eyes, still she is an acting coach because I don't think I would be bold enough to do the things that I do now if it wouldn't have been for her inspiring me, if that makes sense, but the comedic side is all from a place of humor, like I grew up watching In Living Color, Mad TV, Nickelodeon, of course, all that, let's see, the Tom Green Show, Jackass, like just a lot of stuff, The Simpsons, Family Guy, and I kind of always was that fat kid that always had something funny to say in school. So, I just took some of those things and I just put them together. And the people that the comedians that don't have podcasts out here in Eunice, there's a lot of them that inspired me. I mean, not Keith Allison, Keith, I think that's his last name, Keith Allison, but we call him Big Bobo. Let's see who else. This one comedian that I know as well. I used to, whenever I was a teenager, sneak into the club in Opelousas. He was a DJ, DJ K Chill, and I see all their work and stuff like that on social media, and I just be very, very impressed. So, yeah, that's another thing that inspired me too, because it also showed me that you don't really have to get in front of the camera to really like push your brand out there, because all you have to do is just put in the work and it happens. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
How did it work with rotating co-hosts?
Let's see. To be honest with you, Day Day, um, in the beginning, it was a bit rough because of the simple fact that my co-host, he was constantly getting compared to me, and I felt like you know it wasn't right. And not only that, I felt like I wanted to add more humor on the show because he was a funny guy. His name was Jonas Edwards, and we met through my cousin Ondria, and I followed him on social media, and I saw that he would make up these different characters and all of that stuff. And I was like, wow, I was like, I like this dude, I want to work with him and all kind of stuff like that. And it just so happened, we started working together, and yeah, from that it went into me finding out that he does stand-up comedy on in on Lafayette on well in Lafayette on Jefferson Strip. At the Worst Beer Garden, and he was like, some of the stuff you saying and this and that and this, you need to bring that with you to the Worst Beer Garden. And I was like, okay, I was a bit nervous, to be honest with you, doing stand up comedy for the first time because I actually saw a heckler, take a microphone out of a comedian's hands, and I was like, okay, like if they do that to me, like it's gonna turn ugly up in here. And then I think around that time, Will Smith had slapped Chris Rock in the face, so I was like, yeah, hey, what? Anybody could get it. The bottle get broke on the ground, and bitch, I'm gonna cut you with it. Okay, so it was that, but the rest of the rotating co-hosts, from Jonas, from Jennifer Thomas, from Symone Perrodin, from DeAndre Johnson, we call him Buddy for short, to Jeremy Neville, call him Big J for short. To Kira, you know what I'm saying, and to Dionca Miller, like these were people that I would speak to on a regular basis, and I felt like it would be good for them to like put their personality out there as well, and you know let's get some laughs, you know what I'm saying, because like I said, it was during the COVID and a lot of us really didn't have nothing to do. You got to understand, Day Day. A lot of people got laid off their jobs. A lot of people, had to stay at home because some of them got sick with the corona, whatever it was, the COVID. Some people got sick with that. You know what I'm saying? So, it was a pleasure and it was an honor to have these people believe in me and want to be on my platform and work with me. And it was like, wow, like I couldn't believe it. And in my mind, I was like, I probably need to watch what I say because, like I told you before, I wanted to get it I wanted to talk about certain things from a female's perspective and from a heterosexual male's perspective. And, well, I take it back from a heterosexual female's perspective and a homosexual female's influence, and from a heterosexual male's point of view. And I was like, I kind of had to watch what I said. I thought that I had to watch what I said because, some people have reputations, some people have, you know, jobs to where they have to watch what they put out there on social media. And, some people have reputations, to where if they associate themselves with a gay man, it means they're gay. Okay, period. Don't make me hope. Hey, don't make me point them holes out. Because hey, but it didn't stop nothing or anything like that because my straight homeboys, they know, what time it is. Whenever it comes to rumors like that, we immediately shut it down. Even if we have to roll up on you, we gonna shut it down, point blank, period. And for the women gave that. I'd say they gave that sass. They met my sass with it. You know what I'm saying? And it was really really fun. And I didn't have to walk these people through anything. You know what I'm saying? They just came and was themselves on camera, and it just did what it did. It drew in viewers and everything. So yeah, it was an honor working with them. And not only that, I would love to see them do their own podcasts as well because they're very talented. And not only that, they know how to draw in viewers as well. And I believe in them. It's like a mama bird. You give them a push out the nest and see them fly from there. So
When did you know the talk of town captures others' attention?
when I started noticing that the Talk of Town started capturing other people's attention, let me see. How I started noticing was going, like being around town, out in public, and Eunice is a small town, of course, well, a small city. So I would say everybody know everybody, but whenever people post things on social media, it just spread like wildfire. But how I really started noticing was one day I was like out in public somewhere. I want to say I was in like Walmart or something like that. And a few people that I didn't even know like walked up to me and knew my name and stuff like that. And I was like, you know, what the hell is going on? And then they started mentioning the talk of town and stuff like that. Cause I was like, okay, what's going on? But um let me see what else too. I had went out to the club one night on Lafayette on Jefferson Strip, and I went to a club called Marley's, a straight club called Marley's, and I was at the bar. I was trying to order a drink, them good tequila shots. I used to hit them up. You know what I'm saying? You already know. I used to hit them up, they big time, the tequila shots. And a guy behind the bar, he knew my face and he knew who I was. And I was like, do I know you from somewhere or something like that? And he was like, no. He was like, no, you don't know me, but I know you from the Talk of Town and stuff like that. And he told me that he was from Iota, how him and a few of his friends and family members, like, they watched the show, laughed at it, and how they enjoyed the advertisements and the artists that we have on the show. You know what I'm saying? Either they produce a music video, or they just give us a track and we just simply play it. Because I feel like not a lot of people, not a lot of how can I put it? Not a lot of self-established people do much to help other people, come up. And I'm a firm believer in that. Like, when you start from the bottom and you got a platform to like help other people, I believe in that. You know what I'm saying? Because it pushes their brand out there, and it also pushes your brand out there. And then it also helps you network with different people and stuff like that. And that as well, when I started being able to network with different people, and yeah, it's really started showing me stuff like, okay, it's really making an impact. And I would have to tell my rotating co-hosts and like some of the artists that have been on the show, are like the people that I've done adverts for on the show. If somebody comes up to you and you don't know their name, just be polite because it's weird. I'm not gonna lie to you, Day. It's weird. It's really, really weird. But you have to be friendly. You have to kind of keep it professional, because you might want this person to buy your product, or you might want this person to download your music on whatever streaming podcast, or for me, to get the views and stuff like that, things like that. I don't just do it for the views. I do it because it kind of helps other people too of what I do. And not only that, it's not 100% me that's doing this production. When I have a team behind me, you know what I'm saying? And I'd say, yeah, that's when I started noticing it too. And when my family would come back to me and tell me that they watched it and all of that stuff, because I remember whenever y'all would tell me that y'all had watched it in my Nana Carol house and stuff, and I was just like, oh my god. At first I was nervous about my family like viewing it, because some of them don't know that I have that type of potty mouth.
What made you take a break from the talk of town?
Let's see. What made me take a break from the Talk of Town was me being in the car accident. I had to, heal from all of that and stuff like that. And then not only that, I had enrolled in school once I had healed from the car accident and stuff like that. I had enrolled in school, and I wanted to pursue my education. I really, 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 really wanted to pursue my education and have some motion behind my podcast. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to just be somebody that's just doing this for fun. I want to make sure that I can eat off this. You know what I'm saying? Eat off this brand, and purchase this brand and all of this and that and that and this. And um, not only that, too. I didn't graduate high school. I got expelled. So, me being full grown now and going back to school for my GED, I'm very proud of myself, because things come in the way. Like I told you before, like, the devil exists in a human form, and sometimes he try to stop you from doing things that you want to do with your life. And it's it's so many hurdles that I had to get over to be able to step back in front of the camera because the car accident, it left me really broken, and I had like a lot of scars and stuff like on my scalp, on my face and on my legs. Like it was crazy. And I have a bad hip, a bad shoulder because of it, but I turned out to be okay. And focusing on my education was the number one priority. And, I'm glad to say that I'm almost finished because I only have the math part of the GED test to retake. And, I hate math, but, at this point in my life, I've grasped that I have no other choice but to embrace it and to learn it. I'd have to say too, like I said about the distractions, just I had some distractions going on in my life that kind of made me take a break and stuff like that. A few deaths in my family and a few setbacks and stuff like that. But I'm still here, so yeah. I'm still here, and I do plan on bringing the show back this year. Later on this year, once I finish school, I do plan on bringing it back because it was funny, and people come up to me all the time and ask me, when is it coming back? When is it coming back? And this and that and this. And some people, ask to be on the show and stuff like that, which I don't oblige because I can sit with any group of people or with any type of person and make them laugh. You know what I'm saying? Just by being myself. I plan on like making t-shirts and stuff like that because the fans of the show, I call them the talkers, the talk of town. So they're the talkers, you know what I'm saying? So every time they watch an episode, they tell a person about it, tell a person about it. So, but I'll say this to close this out. You know, I really, 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 really thought that this wouldn't even last, or that like that, or that it didn't make like a popular impact around the city and even outside of the city. Because I would go to Lafayette and to Baton Rouge and to New Orleans, and people knew about the show, and I was like, is that in a good way or in a bad way? But even if they would have told me it was in a bad way, like you can't get mad when people aren't feeling you, like because comedy is an opinional thing, and not only that, like everybody just probably not into you like that, and you gotta have gator skin to do this. And like I said, the talk of town, it may not be for everybody, but the talkers love it and they still spread it.